I built and scaled 3 finance companies to over $1.3 million per month in business finance, home loans, and asset finance. And then worked with over 1,000 financial services companies over the last 6 years. And the biggest thing I can say on why financial services businesses fail is because they don't have a 4-stage roadmap that they basically just need to keep front of mind when actually scaling to 7 figures and beyond. This is the exact structure that I use when scaling to $1.3 million per month, and it is also the exact structure that's been refined by talking with some of the biggest finance companies like Valiant Finance, 360 Finance, who we've all worked with over the last 6 years. Today, we're going to go over the 4-stage plan that you need to actually do and execute on, and the KPIs and everything around that. So let's jump right in. So this is exactly what I would do if I ran a finance company again, the exact lead funnel, VSL funnel sales team structure to go from $0 to $500,000 per month. Now, number one, biggest thing at the start that people get wrong is 0 to 50,000, 0 to 40,000, 0 to 80,000. In that range, sub 7 figures, you just need to focus on this. 1 channel of leads, 1 client avatar, 1 offer. Don't do anything else. So what that means, 1 channel of leads, this could be a pay-per-lead provider, could be an agency, could be referrals, could be accountants under referrals. 1 avatar, meaning, are you targeting business owners for business finance? Are you targeting homeowners for refinance or say first-time home buyers, for example? And 1 offer, meaning then within that client avatar, you're giving them 1 offer. Refinance, first-time home buyer, unsecured business lending, secured business lending, auto finance for consumers, for example. Now, that is how you get to $50,000 per month. A lot of other videos on how to do that. This is mainly going to be going from then 50 to 500 and really how you really juice this thing and go. So this is for obviously finance companies owners, any kind of lenders, any kind of B2B financial services, MCA brokers for America. So what you'll learn, how to fix inconsistent and basically expensive lead flow, speed systems to double conversions, the exact team structure to hit $500,000 per month that we use, and the KPI dashboard to protect profits, okay? So 3 core problems. So lead flow for these companies, when you're scaling, is usually broken, conversion rates are down, lead cost is up, so your cost to acquire a customer shoots up, and then the team structure isn't built for maximal profitability, okay? So lead flow is broken. CAC is climbing, your volumes day-to-day swing wildly, meaning your lead flow swings wildly, you don't have an internal system. And this is the exact thing that I would personally do. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to be the exact plan for every single person, but the biggest thing is we would have internal team members that would actually be doing media, okay? It would be the in-house team would be the designer, graphic specialist, editor, and media buyer. Obviously, the designer owns all the creative output, ads, landing pages, thumbnails, etc. The editor handles video content, UGC cuts, reels, and ad variations. And the media buyer obviously runs the numbers, optimizes spend, kills losers, and basically scales the winning ads, okay? And the biggest reason though why your CAC is climbing and all these things is your creative velocity for an internal team is too low. And on top of that, your funnel isn't aligned with awareness levels of what you're actually seeing. So what I mean by that is a lot of people, they can basically not scale past a certain point because they're only targeting the top level of the smallest margin of people. You obviously see a marketing funnel like this. These are the hottest, these are the coldest. You're only targeting this. So you need to target multiple levels above that, okay? And you're relying on 1 funnel type instead of running multiple simultaneously to get a broader approach into the market, okay? As I said, offer avatar mismatch, usually attracting the wrong leads because of your sales process. And then you'll find straight away that your volume internally for ads or any kind of lead gen that you do is not consistent month on month, which just requires, let's say you're not doing ads in this case. You're doing, for example, you're reaching out to brokers to give you referrals. Say you're a business finance broker and you want to reach out to mortgage brokers. Now, the same applies. The same SMS you sent to reactivate, the same kind of calls that you do to reactivate to get more, you need to reinvent them and go again and go harder with more volume, okay? The creative is just an indicative rule of the volume you need to do to get to the next level, okay? So this is the in-house team. And then from there, when you have your in-house team, when you're really scaling up towards the big numbers, $250,000, $500,000 per month, the agency will then come in and manage Meta and Google simultaneously, but then you will manage your own internal. So you'll have your internal team and agency, and people wonder why. There is a rule. It's called like the sum of 50, which means in any company under 50 people, 100 people, around that is in the creative space, 50% of the output comes from the top 10 people. So what that means is if you get an agency that you work with and they have 10 people, I can literally guarantee you that 1 person drives over 50% of all creative, which means we have our internal team that will be one person driving it, essentially, or 10% driving it. And then you want to get another, basically, 10% person driving the other 50. So you get another agency. And I guarantee you, these two people will have different levels of expertise. Okay. So the biggest thing to take that I see a lot of people doing in finance is they think, oh, I'm just going to do one agency. That's enough. No, we don't. So for example, internally at Paperly, we like right now, let's give business loans an example. We spend, this isn't verified, but we spend the most amount in Australian business loans right now. It's around, I won't say the exact number because I won't release it, but it's multi six figures. We spend on business loans to generate leads for clients on a paper lead, profitably sell that amount of leads in the multi six figures for just business lending, just unsecured business lending, not even secured. And in that we have, guess what? Not just one media buyer for that ad account, we have multiple, okay? So number 2, contact rate is broken, okay? Meaning your CAC is also rising, not because of leads and not because you can maintain a lower lead cost, but it's also breaking because no speed to lead system. So first contact happens hours instead of days. Your follow-up is not standardized. And basically there's no speed to second appointment tracking, meaning your first call and your second call with the client, there's no link between them. Huge bottleneck that I find in companies. There's lead, contacted, opportunity, application, but usually in between them becoming an opportunity and becoming an application, it's not always in one call. And I'm sure you would agree in anything, financial planning, life insurance, health insurance, anything. It's health insurance can actually be done in one call, but nearly everything else. And then secondly, how do you get around the basically the speed to second appointment is SDRs aren't booking meetings from meetings, meaning BAMFAM, which is book a meeting from a meeting. And we have seen, and this is a source from basically MIT, 21x increase from leads contacted within 5 minutes versus after 30 minutes. That should make you take action right there. So number 1, your lead flow is broken, meaning it's inconsistent and cost is too high. Number 2, contact and follow-up rates are too low and basically too slow. And then the team structure isn't built for you to actually clearly scale, okay? When you get to the point of having 5 or 10 people, you're doing a few $100,000 per month and you're wanting to scale more, team structure is so important, okay? Because you need to think of revenue and profit per person, okay? And there's no clear roles, no volume targets per role, in predictable natures, okay? And brokers are doing admin work, which basically it's bleeding hours for 75 grand per year plus all of their commissions. And you might even be comm only as well. And then you have no hiring and ramp system, how you can basically continuously bring new people in the business, scale lead gen and scale people. So what is the solution here? You want to get to as quickly the team model of 8 to 10 staff in pods like this, okay? This is exactly what we did and exactly what I would do again. SDRs, we have one SDR per broker, okay? Because they can basically feed the broker now with double the amount of leads, okay? So double the amount of leads. Then brokers, obviously you have them getting the leads, and then they're supported on the back end for basically document intensive industries such as like mortgage refinance, for example. They are then put in with VAs and support staff to help the back end. Next, sales managers. So as soon as you get to 8 to 10 staff, you need to now consider a sales manager. Okay, sales manager is so important, and they oversee 5 to 10 brokers. And what they basically do is they do 4 things. They hire and fire staff. They look at 5 to 10 pieces of their content every single week. And then from that, every single week, they also then are doing weekly one-on-ones and daily huddles. Okay. And why does this work? Brokers stop doing admin, revenue per head goes up, and then SDRs only send qualified leads to each broker. And then obviously sales manager, the only 2 things a sales manager does, which is usually the CEO and founder of the company for most of the time, but a sales manager just is culture and training. That's all they do, which is what the other 4 things that I described are. Okay, and then support staff handle back office, basically back end at a lower cost, so your margin can be recovered as well. And I'm not joking, I've seen a 60 to 100% increase in output on this team structure versus a normal broker only. SDR, into broker, back end support, sales manager. So whatever you're doing now, if you're doing 100,000 a month, I guarantee if you're not doing this, I can literally sit down and show you how it would go from 60 to 100% more, meaning 100,000 straight up to 160, 100,000 more per month, okay? So that is then the team structure. It isn't built for scale and profitability. And then when these issues all compound on each other, okay, CAC becomes crazily expensive, all your leads get wasted and the wrong team structure. So it becomes a high risk business with low margin, because you basically can wipe out your profit from very little mistakes. You go and spend $10,000, $20,000 on a new hire or something like that. That's your whole month profit gone. Then how do we actually scale the lead gen? So the lead generation system, we would split it in between, or I would split it in between a direct response and a VSL. VSL is for people who need more convincing, okay? It's a lower volume approach because these people need much more convincing, and it's much harder to scale into huge numbers for a VSL. And also the direct response lead funnel, meaning a direct response is the usual ads that you see. It's like get business lending or get a lower mortgage rate or whatever it might be. Go to a non-bank lender, for example. So that's what normal direct response is. So I've got another video on the channel, the VSL funnel. Go watch that if you want to know what a VSL funnel is. Stands for video sales letter funnel. But basically we would aim for, in terms of volume, direct response funnel being, 400 to 600 leads per month and scale out from there. And the VSL funnel being like 100 to 200 leads. So you can see you will independently scale these. One will be to reach more parts of the market that need more convincing, and one to the people who are ready. And slowly the VSL funnel will basically grow as you need more trust in the market. So as you can see here, direct response 400 to 600, VSL 100 to 200. This will slowly scale as you go up. Okay, and why this works when splitting it for internal running is if one funnel's cost to acquire spikes, the other stabilizes it, and also you're getting different intent levels, okay? So this is much more qualified, but you're also taking people who are much less ready to buy and turning them into buyers and people who want finance or insurance today, okay? Now, when you use each of these funnels as well, start with the direct response funnel, build a simple lead form, SDR qualification, broker closes. This also makes sure that your direct response lets you refine your entire sales process before you actually scale and have to worry about harder things, okay? Because the biggest thing I see is people are doing less than 7 figures and even less than mid 7 figures. Is you go into their business and they don't have clear SOPs, they don't have a clear process that works, and they don't know how to enforce it for their staff. Not enforce, but actually use it for their staff. And then from there, you'd start adding in to get from 80 to 160,000. You'd be ramping direct response and also adding in the VSL funnel. Now, finally, at $160,000 to $250,000 per month, I would start looking at external partners, because now you really want to split. You're now doing serious numbers. You're doing in the mid to low 7 figures, and mid to low 7 figures, you need to start diversifying your risk. So if anything goes wrong, you can basically do it. So you would engage an agency plus more pay-per-lead providers, and you would focus then on internal hiring on every single role, okay? Absolutely so important. Finally, the KPI dashboard that changes everything. I've seen upwards of 100% increase on the throughput for sales on this, okay? These are what you need to measure. How many leads come in, how many leads get contacted, how many become an opportunity, how many applications get submitted, how many approvals, settlements, and referrals. And then if you want further tracking, which is exactly what I would do, under each of these, you have under contacted. Why were they, each lead that doesn't become the next stage, why were they only contacted and not an opportunity? And then you have a drop down of options. Then why would an opportunity not become application submitted? You then have another drop down of options, because a lead not becoming a contact means they didn't want to, they either didn't want to talk to you or they never picked up the phone. They text you saying, I don't want to talk, or they didn't pick up the phone. And then contact to opportunity, why would they pick up the phone, not become an opportunity? They either don't want to talk, they're not interested straight away, they don't meet your minimum qualification criteria, for example. So you need to have drop downs per one, and this makes it so easy to then track it, okay? And finally, referrals received, okay? This is your lowest cost, highest quality lead source, okay? And if you're not tracking this and you don't have a system in place, you need to do it right now, because you're probably leaving 5, 10, 20% of total revenue every single month on the table that you could increase that by, and it's nearly all profit as well. So we usually see, as I said, 50 to 100% increase when you track all 7 stages and you work off each stage individually. So like this week, you're working on lead to contact, then contact to opportunity, for example, and you keep working on them weekly and monthly. And it's so, so important. So to recap, number 1, leads. Number 2, the actual sales system behind it. Number 3 is going to be team structure, so you actually have a really high profit per employee. And number 4, the KPIs that control it all. This is such an important plan. These 4 stages are what you need to focus on one by one in order to keep growing the business. And the biggest thing as well is with some of these, you might already have 1, 2, or 3 of these sections that are already going well, so focus on the next one. But apart from that, hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was valuable, and subscribe, like, comment if you want more content like this weekly. But apart from that, have an amazing day.